hearing Bhagavad Gita, we heard the Supreme Lord is not responsible for the virtue nor for the vice of a person. Since pure intelligence is now enveloped by nescience, people are apt to be infatuated by the three qualities of Maya. But the knowledge of those whose nescience has been destroyed by the supreme spiritual knowledge manifests the Supreme Lord as the self-effulgent Sun. Those whose intelligence, mind, and steadfastness have been focused on the Supreme Lord attain the blissful realm from where there is no return, their sins having been purged off by the light of transcendental knowledge. I don't know if I read the Sanskrit of this verse, I will read it anyway. Text 17. Tad buddhayas tat atmanas tan nishtas tat parayanaha gachanti apunar avritim jnana nirduta kalmashaha. Explanation. The gloom of nescience or avidya, having been fully dispelled by the light of transcendental knowledge, those whose intelligence, mind, and steadfastness have been focused on my eternal beautiful human form are blessed with the attainment of that blissful realm whence there is no return. Those who are blessed with my divine love are never enamored by physical desires. They are enchanted by hearing and singing the glories and the narratives of my divine form, attributes, and deeds. One who gets darshan of Krishna, that is pure knowledge and also pure bliss, highest type of bliss, higher taste. Such person cannot be enamored by physical desires. One time, one devotee in Hawaii asked Gurudev, why is it that sometimes we see that someone takes the position of pure devotee and then falls down? Then Gurudev was at first surprised with this question, because some think that I will take sannyas, robes, dress, and that is taking the position of pure devotee. But by that one cannot become pure devotee. Pure devotee is one who unconditionally surrendered to Krishna and is engaged all the time, constantly in his service. So Gurudev said, one who got realization of Supreme Lord, it is impossible for him to be attracted to any physical, mundane, any desires. Impossible. So realization is important, not knowledge, theoretical knowledge, or taking some dress. Vidya vinaya sampane brahmane gavihastini shunicheva shvapakecha panditaksa madarshinaha. Those who possess the faculty of samadarshan, that is to say, visualize the eternal existence of the Supreme Lord, in a Brahmin possessing learning and modesty, in a Chandala living on a dog's flesh, in an elephant, in a cow, or in a dog are designated as pandits. Explanation. In this world, things are classified mainly into three divisions according to the three qualities of Maya. The Jnanins, who are imbued with transcendental qualities, are not influenced by such thoughts as high, middle, or low, which are the relative offshoots of the three qualities. Those who possess the faculty of Samadarshan, that is to say, those who visualize the eternal existence of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna in every entity, as for example in a Brahmana possessing learning and modesty, in a Chandala living on dog's flesh, in an elephant or a dog, are designated as Pandits. Because true knowledge is awakened in them, and they are endowed with a vision that transcends time and space, and this enables them to realize the eternal existence of the Supreme Lord as Antarjami Paramatman in every entity that exists on earth. Samadarshan means equal vision. That is, one who is beyond these material differentiations based on material this. So he can see eternal reality. Here it is mentioned about Antarjami, Paramatma, or Supreme Lord in everyone's heart. And also, Jivas also all are equal in the sense they all belong to Krishna. So one who is on transcendental platform, he can have Samadarshan. He can see, he does not differentiate based on Maya. Gurudev told that once there was one brahmachari in Calcutta, and he was collecting for the service of the mat, going to different houses, speaking little Harikatha, and requesting them to offer something for the service of Krishna, either money or rice or something, this type of preaching. So there was one house where husband was not inclined, he was against all religion and all this, but wife was religious. So wife told that brahmachari, you should come at that time when my husband will not be at home. I will give you, but you come at that time. So he was going like this. In the morning when he would already go to the office. But one time it happened that he did not go to office and he was at home. Then he saw that brahmachari coming. Then he said, oh, brahmachari, you came. And he said, just by taking saffron cloth, one does not become a sadhu. He does not gain samadarshan by that, equal vision. I am here eating, you see me. I am eating here in the same plate with my dog. Can you do this? Do you have such equal vision? Same plate, he is eating and dog also eating at the same time. So he was proud. He said, I'm having equal darshan, samadarshan. You are not having such darshan. Only taking saffron cloth, you will not get this. Then that brahmachari did not remain there. Then he came back to the mat and he told to Gurudev what was happening. Then Gurudev said, that is not samadarshan. Samadarshan is not so easy. Samadarshan means transcendental vision, that Krishna is everywhere, or all jivas are equal in the sense they are all coming from same Supreme Lord, of same quality. Is not one is Chinese, one is American, one is this. No, they are And Guru said, what he said is not equal vision, because he was seeing himself and seeing dog, two different things. So he, on a material platform, he thought, I can eat with my dog. Means he's not even accepting the material purity and impurity. Cannot understand. What to speak of transcendental vision. That was only his misconception. What is Samadarshan? If someone has Samadarshan, then he cannot say, I am human and he is dog. And boasting. That is not equal vision. It is not so easy. One has to do penance, spiritual practice, and get that realization. And when one gets such a realization that Krishna is in the heart of every living entity, he cannot have any pride. He is giving due respect to all and not desiring respect for himself. So, but that person was boasting, I am eating together with my dog. Can you do this? That is not Samadarshan. Ihaiva teirjitah sargo yesham samyastitam manaha nirdosham hi samam brahma tasmat brahmani te stitaha. Those who are endowed with tranquility and equanimity of mind conquer the world and enjoy heavenly bliss. As the Brahman is stainless and equanimous, they are established in Brahman only. No explanation here. Na prahrishet priyam prapya, no dvijet prapya cha priyam, stira buddhir asamudho, brahmavid brahmani stitaha. The knower of Brahman has his being in Brahman, is not affected by any mundane sense percepts, and is firmly established in Brahman. He is therefore neither elated with nor dejected by any mundane events, whether pleasant or painful. This is not so easy to attain. One has to really transcend false ego and be established in spiritual reality, either in personal or personal in devotion. Both are possible. Then he cannot be particularly happy or sad by any happening in this world, because that does not touch him and that is not his requirement. He already transcended that false ego. Atmavare drashtavya shrutavya mantavya nididhyasitabhya. Anatma, this material body, has his own needs, but Atma has another need. That is Atma. Atma requires Atma for its sustenance. So either impersonal spiritual, that will not fully satisfy you, but that is also transcendental. It will release you from this mundane desires, and the service of Supreme Lord, that will fulfill you. So he is not disturbed by anything in this world, because Atmavare drashtavya shrutavya mantavya nididhyasitabhya. His requirement is Atma. Atma's requirement is Atma. He does not require these things. But as long as he is in this world, in this body, he will also fulfill his material body needs, but in such a way that he will not come in conflict with anyone, because that is very small quantity, modest, and by the grace of Krishna, he will provide, so he is not disturbed by anything. But if someone is in false ego, then he will always be disturbed by raga and dvesha of this world, love and hatred to different, what to avoid, what to accept, what to desire, all this, all the time. So never stable, never tranquil. Vajyasparsheshva saktatma vindati atmani yat sukham sabrahma yoga yuktatma sukham akshayam ashnute. The knower of Brahman derives no pleasure from the enjoyment of the phenomenal world. He enjoys eternal bliss in the realization of his own real self and of me as Brahman, owing to his steadfast attachment for me. So he feels a natural aversion to sensual pleasures. So we can test ourselves how much we realized by seeing how much detachment, how much natural aversion for sensual pleasures is there, either gross or subtle. Because in devotion, three things automatically happen at the same time: realization of Krishna, devotion to Him, and detachment, natural aversion for all sensual pleasures. At the same time they happen. Yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukhayonaya evate adyanantavantah kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. Such a soul who lives in Brahman never yields to sensual pleasures, which are the source of all miseries. Human sufferings are born of the relative associations of the senses with the phenomenal world. They have their beginnings and ends and are not therefore eternal. O son of Kunti, no wise man ever feels a liking in any way for these transient temporal pleasures. He adopts nishkama attitude in his actions simply for the bare necessity of his life without being attached to them. This is some more elaborate translation and also explanation at the same time. What I said before is here confirmed. One who lives in Brahman means on transcendental platform, because who is Brahman? Jato vaimani bhutani jayante jeno jatani jivanti jat prajanti avishamshanti tat vijigirsasa tat eva Brahma. Brahma is one from whom all living entities are coming. They are maintained by him and into whom they will go. He is Supreme Lord. So one who is living in him means in relation with him on transcendental platform. He has that higher taste. So he never goes for any sensual pleasures. They are source of miseries. We think they are very good. That is pleasure. That is why we are living for. But they see it as source of misery. Because there is no service of Krishna there. They are getting that taste. And this is just the opposite. to try to enjoy, that is opposite to the service of Krishna. So that is source of misery. Here, human sufferings are born of the relative associations of the senses with the phenomenal world. That is the source of all trouble. They have their beginnings and ends and are not therefore eternal. But we are eternal. So how non-eternal something can satisfy eternal? It is not possible. O son of Kunti, no wise man ever feels a liking in any way for these transient temporal pleasures. Prahlad Maharaj said this is the source of all trouble for the embodied soul. So one who is wise means one who is realized the soul. That does not mean that he will reject everything material, everything in this world. That is false vairagya. He still is in the body and in the mind and in this world. So he will not totally reject, but he adopts nishkama attitude, not without kama, not with desire to enjoy, but as grace of Krishna to sustain his life so that he can serve Krishna. He is taking Krishna's prasad. Nishkama attitude in his actions simply for the bare necessity of his life, that is Jukta Vairagya, without being attached to them. Jukta Vairagya. In relation to Krishna, he is accepting for his service so that he can maintain his life for his service, taking Krishna's prasad, and that is always bare minimum, not huge something. And it is provided by Krishna or helped. And then there are different stages of devotees and how they are maintaining their life and how much necessities they are having and how much they are with how much they can peacefully live. Like Raghunath Das Goswami in final stage. That is different case as he was when first Mahaprabhu told him, go to your house and practice this Jukta Vairagya. So according to one's advancement, this will also change accordingly, but principle is the same. In relation to Krishna, he is accepting. Not totally rejecting like Gyanis. They even reject what is favorable for the service of Krishna or what is transcendental appearing in this world. They also reject, not understanding the proper connection. Shaknoti Hevayah Sodhum Praksharira Vimokshanat Kama Krodod Bhavam Vegam Sayukta Sasuki Naraha. He really is happy and well balanced who, by virtue of Nishkama Karma Yoga, can patiently withstand till death the forceful impulses born of lust and anger, although he is aware of the fact that he shall have to deal with the phenomenal world so long as he lives. We are hearing there in Upadeshamrita by Rupa Goswami, Vacho Vegam Manasa Krodha Vegam Udarupasta Jiva Vegam Udarupasta Vegam Etan Vegan Jo Vishahita Dhira Sarvam Prithivim Sarvam Apimam Prithivim Sashishyat. One who is happy and well balanced, he can tolerate all those urges patiently, withstanding all those urges. He will not indulge in them. Even he is not disturbed because he will have to live in this world till the end of his life, and that he will have to deal with phenomenal world. He's not disturbed by that because he's seeing everything in relation to Krishna. Jnanis, they are disturbed with this world, but not devotees, because seeing in relation to Krishna. So, although he is aware of the fact that he shall have to deal with the phenomenal world so long as he lives in this world. So he is not practicing any kind of escapism. He will deal with this phenomenal world as long as he is here, but in a way that is favorable for Krishna's service. And Krishna is always giving him knowledge how to properly adjust. That is why he is peaceful. One who unconditionally surrendered. But if someone is not surrendered, then he cannot have such knowledge, and he cannot do that also. Then he will be disturbed with phenomenal world because of this enjoying spirit, not because phenomenal world is bad by itself, but my attitude is wrong. I want to enjoy or I want to renounce. That is giving trouble. Wrong usage. Yontah sukontar aramas tatantar jyotir evayaha sayogi brahma nirvanam brahma bhuta digachati. He who is not addicted to worldly pleasures, comforts, and worldly knowledge, but is a sincere aspirant for inner spiritual happiness, inner harmony, and inner enlightenment, is really in touch with Brahman, is a real yogin, bhakta, and attains Brahma Nirvana. That is to say, enjoys everlasting bliss. This we have to attain. Labhante Brahma Nirvanam Rishaya Khina Kalmashaha Chinna Dvaidha Yatatmanaha Sarvabhuta Hiterataha. Brahma Nirvana is attainable by sages who are free from sins and doubts, are self-controlled, and are intent on the eternal well-being of the world at large. Here, Sarvabhuta Hite Rataha. He is intent on the eternal well-being of the world at large. He wants that all should be liberated, all should get devotion to Krishna. That is actual compassion to others. Buddhists, they also do compassion to others in the sense of this material, some goodness, opposite to violence, to release themselves from debt to others so that they can be liberated. But mainly they are doing for material good, and they are encouraging for that liberation. And Jnanis, those who are Brahman realize, they also want to do good to others. They are also doing sattvic good, material goodness activities, helping and schools and medicine and all this, clothing, all these things, and to inspire them to get liberated. And devotees also, they also do, but in relation to Krishna. They want everyone should come to the service of Krishna. That is actual compassion. But the thing is, Bhaktivinoda Thakur later on, I think in 12th chapter, he will say that those who are Brahman realized, they are doing welfare activity for all. So they sometimes unknowingly, they do some service to some devotee. By that, they get Sukriti, and by that Sukriti, they will finally also be able to get the service of Krishna. It is not their intention. They are doing material good, like helping with food or something. Buddhists also, they want to serve all in material sense. Their intention is not to serve devotee, but because they are serving all, they also sometimes unknowingly serve devotee, and that is helping them to then come to Krishna consciousness gradually. Because they see as oneness, if I serve others, I'm serving myself. Gyanis, and they're saying like this. But devotees, they are seeing, I want to satisfy Krishna by helping them to come to Krishna, because Krishna will be very happy. So their target is satisfaction of Krishna. Their target is something else, but unknowingly they also do this. That is why Gyata Sukriti and Agyata Sukriti. There is unknowingly you do something which is pleasing to Krishna, that is also counted. And some are knowing that this is good activity, but they don't have yet firm faith in devotion to Krishna. But they know this is good, so they also knowingly they do something for devotees. And then when their faith awakens, then they will do devotion, direct devotion. Kama krodha vimuktanam yatinam yata chetasam abhito brahma nirvanam vartate viditatmanam. Those sages who are free from all passions and anger are self-restrained and well-versed in the true knowledge of their real self and me, ere long attain transcendental bliss in full perfection. Ere long means maybe quickly, ere long. Ere long. I will check 1 second, because already so many times now it was. Going very slow. I will read next verse. Yes. Before long or soon, in the near future. Yes, this means ere long. Explanation. A Nishkama karma yogin in this world, after discriminating between the truth and untruth, realizes that Brahman is beyond the ambit of mundane time and space, above, and has nothing to do with it, untouched, totally beyond, different category. That is why Brahman spirit is not dependent on his existence for any material element. Like this body needs food for sustenance, but Atma, soul, does not need any food for its existence, is existing independent of this. Having realized this, he finds eternal repose in Brahman. This knowledge of Brahman extinguishes the fire of suffering from mundane afflictions. This is called Brahma Nirvana. Sparshan kritva bahirbahyamsh chakshuschaivantare bruvo pranapano samau kritva nasabhyantara charino yatendriya mano buddhir munirmoksha parayanaha vigate cha bhaya krodho yaksada mukta eva saha. Avoiding all outside contact, fixing his gaze between the eyebrows, balancing the breath in and out within the nostrils, controlling the mind, senses, and intelligence, seeking moksha or emancipation from the bondage of Maya, and freed from all desires, fear, and anger, the truly wise attain that eternal bliss. Explanation. O Arjuna, the heart is purified by the consecrated Nishkama Karma Yoga. Purification of the heart begets true knowledge that determines Tvam or Jiva and Tat, Brahman. The connecting link between the two being the unalloyed devotion of the soul to the Brahman. True knowledge enables a devotee to realize Brahman revealed in his unalloyed existence. Know this to be the process of realizing Brahman. Tattvamasi. Some are saying you are that. That is when you are seeing like qualitative oneness. I am not matter, gross or subtle. I am Brahman. I am spirit. I am beyond this. Tattvamasi. This is one meaning. Another meaning is Tattvamasi. You are his. Tat means Brahman. Tvam. You are his. Tattvam asi. That is clear understanding. We are his. Now I shall deal with the process of Ashtanga Yoga by which the pure-minded realizes Brahman. The process of this yoga is this, Ashtanga Yoga. Drive out from the mind all contacts with external sense percepts of sound, sight, touch, taste, smell, etc. That is to say, withdraw your senses from these sense objects without and retract your mind within. Fix your gaze between the eyebrows so that the eyes should neither be fully closed, lest that should lull the yogin into sleep, nor be fully open, lest that should divert his concentration. Then the half-closed eyes should be steadily fixed on the tip of the nose. Breathing through the nostrils should be so regulated that the ingoing air, prana, and the outgoing air, apana, should be balanced, and ultimately their upward and downward motions should be held in equilibrium. Thus seated, the yogin, who has complete control over his senses, mind, and intelligence, seeking moksha and practicing the realization of Brahman, freed from all desires, fear, and anger, can attain complete deliverance from worldly bondage. So this process of Ashtanga Yoga may be said to be a sadhana anga, partial step to Nishkama Karma Yoga. Because when one realizes that I am spirit, I am not matter, then there is no more fear. Fear is only when you are misidentifying with matter, because that will not endure. But that is eternal and is not disturbed by anything material. So there is no fear and no anger, because there is no obstruction to the fulfillment of some material desires, because there are no material desires. So in pure devotee or someone who realized Brahman, transcendental platform, there can be no origination of anger or fear and desires, not possible. So that is why he is fully peaceful. So this Ashtanga Yoga, if one does, he can get. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote one book, Prem Pradeep. There he gives comparative study of yoga practice and devotional practice by serving Diti and Shravan Kirtan like this. So there it is shown that devotional practice of serving Diti and Shravan Kirtan is less troublesome and also more safe. There in Ashtanga Yoga there are many like dangers. You have to withdraw dryly and then inward and like this. So it is always danger to fall down back. But in devotional practice, immediately you practice your goal at the same time. You are offering your senses and sense objects and everything for the service of Krishna, and automatically getting higher taste. And the means is the goal also at the same time, only on different levels. But in that Ashtanga Yoga, there is a danger. So it is not so safe. And he gives some example how one was attracted to practice yoga and one was attracted to practice bhakti. And this who practiced bhakti, he could easily come to the platform of prema, but that one was behind. So there this comparative study is very clear. Although that process is also working, but it is many traps are there on the way. And also in Kali Yuga it is very difficult. In Kali Yuga we have to practice chanting Harinam and in Sadhu Sangha, because Sadhu Sangha will give us some strength to do it. That is also important in Kali Yuga. That is why Sankirtan, congregational Sankirtan. Otherwise we know everything and trying, but not getting much strength and inspiration if alone, because so many our bad impressions from before are with us. So in order to overcome that, it is very helpful if many devotees together, unitedly, they will worship Krishna. That will be more powerful and more safe. Oktaram yagyatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam gyatva shantim richati. He who knows me to be the enjoyer of the fruits of all sacrifices, the supreme lord of all the worlds, and the only friend of all beings, attains everlasting peace and happiness. This is very important explanation. Karma yogins attain perfect freedom by the knowledge of Paramatman that is attainable through Bhakti Yoga. Know me to be the only enjoyer of the fruits of all yagyas performed by the Karmins, as well as the sustainer of all austerities performed by the Jnanins. I am the Antarjamin, Paramatman, the object of worship of the yogins. I am the best and the only friend of all beings in the universe. Out of my infinite kindness, I do eternal good to all the jivas through my devotees. The yogins can realize me as the Supreme Lord Bhagavan when they attain Nirguna Bhakti by meditating on my partial and immanent aspect Paramatman, the object of their worship. The yogins attain final beatitude when they realize me as the Supreme Lord. This is very important to understand here, that he is the only friend of all beings. Friend means one who is your well-wisher. And in order to know, means in order to be your well-wisher, he has to know what is good for you. And Krishna really has love for all jivas. He always wants them that they should come to him for his service. He knows that is good for them. But we may have some anarthas and some other living entities in this world. They will cooperate with us for fulfilling those anarthas. We will consider them as friends. And once they will not fulfill, we will consider them as enemies. Or today we will consider them as friends, tomorrow as enemies, when my sense gratification, my some selfish desire will not be fulfilled. So this is not, no any conditioned soul with wrong conception of self is actual friend of another living entity. It may seem so for the time being, as long as he's fulfilling our some anarthas. We consider him as well-wisher. But that will change, and I also will not be happy by that fulfillment of anarthas, and it will change. So he's not actual real friend. Only real friend of all is only Supreme Lord and pure devotee, because pure devotee is fully under Supreme Lord. He is thinking of eternal welfare of all. They are the only friends. No one is actual friend. But sometimes we see Guru and pure devotee and Supreme Lord as enemies, because they want to rescue us from anarthas, what we like to enjoy. So we see them as my enemies, but actually they are friends. They want to rescue me from suffering. That is why they want to remove that from me. But I see as enemy. And I see conditioned souls who are fulfilling my desires. They may be gross or subtle also. Subtle are more difficult to detect, but that will also not fulfill us, and that friend will become enemy. And we will blame him then for suffering like this. So only true well-wisher is only Supreme Lord and pure devotee. They have no anarthas, so they really know what is actually good for us, for our eternal welfare. That we have to know. So one who knows, here it is said, he who knows me to be the enjoyer of all fruits of all sacrifice, means Krishna is the only enjoyer. All are to be enjoyed by him. We are only taking his prasad. One who knows, and the Supreme Lord of all the worlds, means he is the owner of everything, master of everything. I am not the owner. And he is the only friend of all, one who realizes this. His friend. We are now seeing as enemy. Oh, you are so cruel. But one who realizes that actually he's thinking of my welfare. Only he. And bona fide guru and pure devotee. One who realizes this, who knows this, he can attain everlasting peace and happiness. What every sentient living entity wants. This is what we are searching all the time for. Everlasting peace and happiness. But our method is wrong. We think by some material acquisition and by some material love or something we can attain that. It is not possible. Everlasting peace and happiness is possible only in the service of Krishna and his devotees. Any other desire, gross or subtle, will make us restless and unfulfilled. Eventually, ultimately frustration will come, Gurudev said. So we know this, but it is very difficult to come out. Even we are not even aware of how many anarthas we still have, other desires. We are not aware, subconsciously, and we are not detecting. That is why sadhu sangha, association of pure devotee, is very necessary, so that we can detect, and they will always guide us towards the satisfaction of Krishna, not of other desires. Then gradually, through some pain of penance, we can overcome all anarthas and actually attain that. Then we will understand why they were actual friends. So here, the gist of this chapter is there. This chapter deals with Sanyas Yoga. A Jnanin, that is to say, a karma sannyasin, and a nishkama karma yogin, having acquired true knowledge regarding Atman, Brahman, Paramatman, and Bhagavan, can attain eternal bliss, which is known as Brahma Nirvana. Here ended the fifth discourse entitled Sanyas Yoga. So tomorrow we will hear about the questions to this chapter, and next chapter, Dhyan Yoga, 6th. Tomorrow is Ekadashi, also here.